Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's begin. 5 2s and a 1, and this is 413 Sports Talk, number 467. Thirsty Thursday, and who needs their thirst quenched? I've got some Western Mass sports that I think will do the trick. We're going to start after the news, but this episode's a go. NFL Pro Bowl, Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Eagles send 8 players to the Pro Bowl. Kansas City and Dallas send 7. As far as those are the teams that lead in Pro Bowl selections. Kind of a no-brainer at this point. Definitely with the Eagles, obviously with Kansas City. Dallas has some good players. Definitely not Dak Prescott, and I'll be the first one to say that. Former top recruit Travis Hunter decommits from Jackson State and goes into the transfer portal and commits to Colorado following Coach Sanders. And I quote, "I want to fulfill my commitment to Coach Sanders." Hey, and let the floodgates open. And how about all the rest of those recruits go over there? Because that's what it's about, honestly. Playing with a coach who has great prestige, experience, is a former pro himself, former All-Pro, Hall of Famer. I think it's like a no-brainer. Why would I stay at one place when I know I can go over there to play? And the culture's the same, and it's going to be on a bigger scale because this is a D1 school. Another news: Lionel Messi, otherwise known to some people as a soccer god, the greatest player alive, the number one player right now, most definitely, is set to extend his deal with PSG. It was agreed to in principle, potentially a year or two. Nothing has been made apparent to any of us. Negotiations haven't started yet, but it is said that they expect negotiations to begin in early spring, and potentially they're trying to land him a deal at some point in July. The R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, Western Kentucky Hilltoppers 44, the South Alabama Jaguars 23. What a fucking game that was. And to end off the news a little somberly, former Denver Broncos running back Ronnie Hillman dies at 31 years old. Liver cancer, and the fact that he contracted pneumonia a couple weeks ago led to his untimely demise. And I would definitely just like to give Ronnie Hillman and his family a moment of silence and respect to a great player and a great human that we lost way too early. On to Western Mass sports. We'll start with girls basketball. Mount Everett over Lee, 40-28. Palmer over Hampshire, 49-22. Number 3, Springfield International Charter School Bulldogs, 45, Minnechaug, 39. And finally, Northampton, 45, Westfield, 21. On to swimming, Amherst over Munson, 110-53. Mount Anthony Union over Wacona, 73-50. And Holyoke over Turners Falls, 65-27. Now let's talk boys high school basketball. Moving on very quickly. Monument Mountain 77, Drury 49. Wow. What an ass whooping the number 10 Monument Mountain walks in there and shows Drury what's up. Wow. Smith Academy over Hampshire 65-62. Athol over Mayhar 61-47. Munson over Palmer 65-51. That's a rivalry game. Greenfield over Turners Falls 66-40. Lennox over Southwick 78-69. And Northampton over Minnechaug 63-49. On to wrestling now. Smith Volk beat Granby 45-36. Agawam over Putnam 60-18. Franklin Tech over Mohawk Trail 48-17. Pathfinder over Frontier 48-36. And Hamden Charter School Science East beats Hampshire 54-24. And on to swimming. Amherst over Munson 112-4. Mount Anthony Union over Wacona 94-41. And Holyoke over Turners Falls 42-39. On to hockey now. Pope Francis, one of the best teams in the country of late. They beat St. John's 5-2. Greenfield over McCann Tech 3-0, and East Hampton 7, Southwick Rams 4. That's it for Western Mass Sports. Now let's talk NBA. We got Cleveland over Milwaukee 114-106, Philly over Detroit 113-93, Chicago over Atlanta 110-108, Indy over Boston 117-112, Brooklyn over Golden State 143-113. Ouch! Aren't the Warriors like 1-5 in their last 6? Toronto over the Knicks 113-106. Orlando over Houston 116-110. OKC over Portland 101-98. Sacramento over my Lakers 134-120, and Los Angeles Clippers over the Charlotte Hornets 126-105. On to NHL now. Detroit over Tampa Bay 7-4. New Jersey over Florida 4-2. Colorado over Montreal in overtime 2-1. Nashville 4, Chicago Blackhawks 2, Edmonton 6, Dallas 3, Minnesota 4, Anaheim 1, and Vegas Golden Knights 5, Arizona Coyotes 2. And that's it for your professional sports. Really quickly before we go, I want to talk to you guys about the Southwick Lady Rams high school basketball team. They're coached by Tiara Alexander, as I know her, as a woman who we've been playing interview tag with for a couple weeks now. We really got to get a chance to get out there and sit down and talk with her. I know she has a marvelous story. I've done my research. I've done my homework. I came up with about 15 great questions for her. Now we just got to make it happen. And Tiara, if you're seeing this, hope all is well. And let's make it happen. It's kind of like meet halfway, something like that. Please. Anyway. A couple of people we want to talk about. Ellie Westcott, sophomore. She's a forward center. She plays a 4 and 5, obviously, for the Southwick Rams. She's very active on the offensive and defensive boards. A couple others we're going to talk about. Avery Burkholder. She's a great 3-point shooter, as well as senior guard Brielle Ensign. Brielle's been playing pretty good lately. And Avery Burkholder's been doing well on the same. So far on their resume, they beat Putnam 41-26 in the season opener. Avery dropped 13. Brielle Ensign dropped 10. Ellie Westcott dropped 6. Emily Davis and Maggie Cronin dropped 4. And Sophia Andrade dropped 2. Sophia's a very special player because not only can she play the post and play the post well on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball, she can step out and knock down those threes whenever needed from her too. And that is one thing I wanted to bring up. Sounds like the Southwick Lady Rams team is very complete. Their experience, I like Brielle Ensign. I like what she's doing. Seems like of the first 2 games were kind of shaky, but then again, this team is experienced. They're led by one of the greats, who I can't wait to sit down with. And I think not everything is said for Emily Davis and Maggie Cronin. I believe at some point in the season they will produce some big numbers to go along with the scoring and firepower that this team already has. If these Southwick Lady Rams can get on fire and get on a roll, I think they'd be one of the hardest teams to beat. Started the season ranked number 17. But since then, I believe they've climbed up, and we'll see after New Year's where they fall on the rankings. And this is the end of episode 467 of 413 Sports Talk. I'm Rahim Escalay. So glad to bring this to you. So glad that these student athletes are just having fun and enjoying their winter sports and giving guys like me something to talk about. We thank you, student athletes. We thank you, coaches. We thank you, assistant coaches. We thank you, parents. We thank you, volunteers who put in the time and the hard work and the effort to make all of this come together. So these young men and young women can have fun, play sports, and succeed academically. That's what we want. Love you all. Wishing you health, wealth, and success. I believe we will see you Saturday, Christmas Eve, with episode 468. But until then, have a great night.